From News 3 Now, this is breaking news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. We begin today with breaking news.
The Mount Horeb coach that we told you was fired last week amid an investigation is now in jail. Police arrested David Chancellor today. He is facing charges of stalking and fourth-degree sexual assault. This began, you may recall, with an investigation into accusations of inappropriate communications that he had with students.
Police in the Mount Horeb School District released a joint statement last week about the investigation, saying the school quickly cooperated with police and followed protocol. Police now say the alleged inappropriate communications were between Chancellor and a former athlete. Chancellor has not yet been formally charged.
To another developing story, this one in Middleton. The mayor says the former city planner sexually harassed and assaulted her.
Our Sarah Carlson joins us now with the details we found in her petition for a restraining order. Sarah?
Susan and Brady, Mayor Emily Kuhn says that Mark Opitz tried to unzip her pants and groped her following her State of the City speech in March of last year. We learned that information from her petition for a restraining order against Opitz, the former city planner and zoning administrator. According to this petition, which the judge did grant, Kuhn was giving the speech at the Village Green Bar. During the event, the mayor says she saw Opitz drink 2 pints of beer within 40 minutes and that he assaulted her while she was talking to a group of people at a table after the presentation. Kuhn says she immediately reported Opitz to the city's Human Resources, demanding a formal investigation. Opitz resigned days after the city launched its investigation. Kuhn did not press charges. Now, Kuhn says Opitz continued to make her uncomfortable at multiple events he attended after resigning. He went on to become a substitute teacher at Kuhn's child's school and is currently a candidate for an upcoming alder election for the city's 6th district. A hearing in this case is scheduled for Friday of this week, and the city says it's aware of the temporary restraining order filing, but they will not comment on active proceedings. News 3 Now has reached out for Opitz for a comment, and we have not heard back. Susan and Brady.
Sarah, thank you.
And we will keep you updated on these stories over the air and online at channel3000.com. Receive notifications directly to your phone with our free mobile app.
Let's turn now to your first warn forecast. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano is here on this Monday. Boy, it was sunny and milder today. Felt good.
Yeah, temperatures definitely trending in the right direction. Looking at the current temperatures right now, 36 in Madison, most of Dane County in the middle to upper 40s, and there are a few locations that have gotten into the 40s. 40 right now in Prairie du Chien, and the temperatures that we're seeing today, these are the temperatures that we're going to continue to see for the next several days and really for the foreseeable future. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, we are seeing some very light precipitation across central Wisconsin for areas north of Madison. This may continue for the next few hours into the overnight hours, but any precipitation will be very light. However, as I mentioned, it will be a little bit of rain and snow potentially, with maybe even some freezing rain mixing in. But most of the area shouldn't see any of this, but we will continue to see cloudy skies with a few peaks of sunshine by the time we get to tomorrow. But looking at the temperatures, because of the cloud cover, the lows are not going to fall too far at all, with lows only around 30, and these low temperatures tonight are warmer than the average high for this time of the year. And then as we look at the forecast for tomorrow, we will see a little bit more sunshine compared to today, but still going to see those very similar temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s. Now I'll talk more in detail about more of these very mild temperatures and also show you any other chances of precipitation we may see. I'll have those details coming up a bit later.
Thanks, Jacob. The man involved in a crash that killed a Madison Mallards umpire is guilty of homicide by negligent operation of a vehicle. A jury found 70-year-old Michael Bartz of Stevens Point guilty of that charge and reckless driving causing great bodily harm on Friday. The crash happened in July of 2023. 29-year-old Connor McKenzie was a passenger in an SUV on its way to Warner Park when the crash happened. Bartz will be sentenced on April 13th.
This morning, a crash on South Park Street left a pet store damaged and sent one person to the hospital.
And this comes at a time when people in the area are voicing concerns about road safety there after the death of a pedestrian last week. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks joins us from the crash scene with the story.
Another crash on South Park Street, this time involving a pet store, happening just a few days after a pedestrian death, just a few blocks away. Monday, a person was taken to the hospital after crashing into a pet supplier store on South Park Street. This comes at a time when the safety of the street is under scrutiny after 17-year-old Alexander Rosen, who went by Sasha, was killed while waiting for the bus at the intersection of Burr Oak and South Park Streets. The incidents were just blocks apart. I had the chance to catch up with District 14 Alder Isidore Knox, who oversees the area of the crashes on the issues on South Park.
That was certainly tragic. Most of us who live in this neighborhood, we know that Park Street could be a dangerous street to cross. A lot of kids cross the street, either going to school. We have the Boys and Girls Club in the area.
And Alder Knox says there are steps currently being taken to make the area safer. Tonight at 5, we'll hear more from Alder Knox on the issues on South Park Street. For now, reporting in Madison, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Jalen. Right now, Madison police are investigating a shooting that happened over the weekend. Saturday night at about 6:30, officers responded to Vera Court for a report of shots fired. When they arrived, they found someone with a gunshot wound. That person went to a local hospital and is expected to survive. No word yet on arrests. Police are asking anyone with information about the shooting to please reach out to them.
We have new information about the state of housing in Madison. The city's 2025 Housing Snapshot Report is out today. Now, here are some of the key takeaways. 53% of people in Madison rent their homes. The vacancy rate is 4.8%. A healthy rate is between 5 and 7%. Home ownership costs are rising faster than incomes, making it even harder for people in Madison to become first-time home buyers. About 3 in 4 renter households making more than the median income rent housing that would be affordable to low and moderate income households. That's increasing pressure on the low to moderate end of the rental market.
In more local news, Hilldale is getting a new store, and it's a first of its kind in Wisconsin. LA-based women's wear brand Reformation will open its first store in the state later this year at the shopping center. It will be next to J. McLaughlin. The location will sell a curated selection of the brand's clothes, like dresses and denim jackets. An exact opening date at Hilldale has not been announced. But next on Live at 4, consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn takes a look at new information on our retirement plans.
And she's telling us how much the average adult says they need to comfortably retire compared to how much they have saved up.
And later, if you're feeling a little extra tired today, you're not alone. How many people plan to take the day after the Super Bowl off, and how much it costs in productivity.
But first, warmer today than the past few weeks. Jacob joins us again with a look at our weather and what we can expect from these nicer temperatures. Are they going to be sticking around for the week? We'll find out when Live at 4 is back.
You're watching News 3 Now, Live at 4.
And we're back. The National Institute of Retirement Security says the average American worker has less than $1,000 saved for retirement.
Consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn is breaking down the numbers, underscoring the financial strain millions could face.
That less than $1,000 saved statistic includes workers with 401k and other savings plans, while also including the roughly 56 million U.S. workers who lack access to an employer-sponsored retirement plan. Americans say they need roughly $1.5 million to retire comfortably. Yet, average savings for all employed adults between the ages of 21 and 64 amounted to $955. For workers who do have retirement savings, the average balance stands at $40,000. Millions of seniors rely on Social Security, which provides roughly half of the typical senior's annual income. If not addressed by Congress, Social Security's funding shortfall could result in a roughly 20% cut to benefits starting in 2034. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is rolling out what it's calling Trump accounts, aimed at helping millions of children build a nest egg to eventually buy a home, fund their education, or start a business. The accounts could also be used to help save for retirement. While Trump accounts could benefit future workers, the current retirement system continues to exclude millions of Americans who lack access to 401ks and similar plans.
Michelle Renee, thank you.
Let's get a check of our weather now. It's pretty nice out today, but Jacob, is this weather going to last?
It actually will. If anything, it's going to get even warmer once we get towards next week. And even this week, we'll see consistent highs in the 30s and 40s with very little precipitation as well. And as I mentioned, getting even warmer once we do get towards the weekend and next week. Now, as we take a look at any chances of precipitation we have this week, minor light rain, light snow possible in central Wisconsin tonight. But beyond that, looking pretty dry tonight. And then we're certainly expecting dry conditions for the day on Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday, we will see a little bit more sunshine. Now, once we get to Thursday, we do have another chance of some precipitation. Looks like it'll mostly be in the form of snow, but we could still see a little bit of a rain mix, and the best chance for this will be in far southwest Wisconsin. Other parts of our area may certainly see some of this precipitation as well. Right now, we're not expecting much of any accumulation, though, and this will clear out pretty quickly early Thursday night. And then once we get to Friday, and then again on Saturday, we are looking to be pretty dry as well. Maybe some light precipitation towards the end of the weekend, but Valentine's Day for Saturday does look very dry. And as you can see, even those slight increases in the chances of precipitation are only a very small rise. So overall, not going to see anything big, and we may not even see anything at all in many of these cases. So taking a look at the temperatures during all this, as I mentioned earlier, lows tonight are going to be on the mild side, only dropping a few degrees into the lower 30s. And then tomorrow we'll have similar temperatures to today, highs in the upper 30s to lower 40s, a little bit more sunshine compared to today. And although we are going to drop in temperatures a little bit for Wednesday, we'll rise right back up into the upper 30s to lower 40s for the end of the week. And then once we get to next week, we could be talking about highs in the middle 40s. So very mild temperatures are in the forecast, and right now there is no end in sight to this mild stretch. And this is the 2-week temperature outlook showing a very high chance that we will see above average temperatures through the middle of the month. So very nice 10-day forecast for February standards in southern Wisconsin. Not seeing much precipitation, and even those chances of precipitation may just be in the form of rain rather than snow, and certainly not going to see too impactful of weather. And getting into next week, it's going to get even milder with some middle 40s. Wouldn't even surprise me if we see some areas get back into the lower 50s. So really all that can be said is just enjoy this weather, because it's February and you don't often see every single day in the 30s.
It's nice to get a little breather. I know some people are looking for a little bit more snow, but not in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, no, not in terms of accumulation for sure.
Well, there's still a lot of March to go, and March is always a crazy
And we sometimes get that snow in April too.
That's true. That's true. All right. Thanks a lot, Jacob. And don't forget, the first round of nominating for this year's Madison Magazine's Best of Madison is now underway. Through the entire month of February, you can nominate any person, place, or activity in a wide variety of categories. Now, this round is write-in only. You can vote once a day for Brady Mallory and Jacob Montesano.
Susan Simon.
Once a day in each category per valid email address. You can also buy tickets to the Best of Business Luncheon on our website, channel3000.com.
Coming up on Live at 4, some of the effects of the president's One Big Beautiful Bill Act are still looming.
Consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn is back to tell us how it could affect thousands of students' abilities to access federal loans. That's coming up later on Live at 4.
And with just the remainder of this week left to come to a deal where Republicans and Democrats stand in their negotiations to change immigration enforcement policies or see a lapse in funding for the Department of Homeland Security.
Plus, the latest on the investigation into the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. Why the Today Show co-host says right now her family is in, quote, an hour of desperation.
Here's a look at the numbers on Wall Street today. The Dow jumped 20 points. The Nasdaq is up 207. The S&P 500 is up 33. Convicted sex trafficker and longtime Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell appeared before House lawmakers for a virtual deposition today.
But she refused to answer any questions invoking her Fifth Amendment right. Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison sentence for sex trafficking. In a statement, her attorney said she is prepared to speak freely if she gets clemency from President Trump. Maxwell's virtual appearance came on the same day members of Congress were granted access to the Justice Department's unredacted Epstein files.
The search for Nancy Guthrie is in its second week, with authorities seemingly no closer to identifying any suspects or persons of interest.
A ransom note also indicates a second deadline today. Savannah Guthrie released a new video on social media this afternoon, thanking people for their prayers and asking for help, saying the family is, quote, at an hour of desperation. CBS's Andres Gutierrez is in Tucson with the latest.
Calling it their hour of desperation, Today's Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie made a plea on behalf of her family for any information leading to her mother Nancy's return.
She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement.
Savannah Guthrie said law enforcement is working around the clock on her mother's case. The family faces a looming deadline Monday, according to an apparent ransom note the FBI is still working to authenticate.
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
In a previous message, the family offered to pay, but it's not confirmed what the demand is. One former FBI negotiator is questioning the would-be kidnapper's potential motives.
It also could be more of a emotional or expressive type grievance, maybe someone that she knows and it's really not financial, or maybe it just went really bad and they're improvising.
Law enforcement have not held a news conference since last Thursday, and they haven't talked about receiving any proof of life of Nancy Guthrie.
I take them at face value that they have nothing right now. That being said, if they do have a credible lead, they're very smart to hold it close to the vest and to play that tactfully for an operation that might result in the victim being returned alive.
The safe return of Nancy Guthrie is also top of mind for local residents praying for her and the family.
My prayers and the flowers, and I hope it makes them feel a little bit better. We will get her back. We will get her back good and healthy and fine.
That's the earnest wish for all involved here as investigators run down every lead. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Tucson.
Congress has just a few days to reach a compromise on immigration enforcement reforms before funding lapses for the Department of Homeland Security. Facing a Friday deadline, Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill appear far from a deal on ICE reforms after federal agents fatally shot 2 U.S. citizens in Minneapolis. While there is bipartisan agreement about requiring body cameras, there's pushback to other proposed changes like prohibiting masks and tightening rules around warrants.
Either they're going to agree to dramatically reform the way in which ICE and other immigration enforcement agencies are conducting themselves, or they're making the explicit decision to shut down the Coast Guard, shut down FEMA, and shut down TSA.
I want to give law enforcement every tool they need to go out and apprehend these convicted criminals that are loose in our community. To me, that makes a lot of sense. Why you would want to shackle your own law enforcement from keeping our community safe makes no sense to me.
So far, the Trump administration has relied on warrants signed by immigration officials, not judges, to carry out its enforcement.
Well, are you wishing that you could have stayed home from work today and spent the day recovering from Super Bowl Sunday?
Super Bowl Monday's not quite as fun, is it? Well, hey, you're not alone. Michael Yoshida joins us with more on the push to make this Monday after the big game a national holiday.
Super Bowl Sunday have you wanting to call a timeout?
Nobody wants to work the Monday after the biggest game in football.
Nonprofit Super Monday Off Coalition is trying to make this idea a reality.
Wait, seriously?
Yes, seriously.
Advocating to make the day after the big game a national holiday.
What if we could pass some coffee runs? Hard pass.
This effort is supported by goods and food delivery company GoPuff, donating to the cause and urging customers to sign a petition and contact elected officials.
We saw that our customers, the biggest 2 categories on the day after the Super Bowl are electrolyte drinks and water. We know they're looking for a sense of recovery. We know they're looking for a day off in some capacity.
A feeling apparently shared by many. A survey from UKG, a leading HR, payroll, and workforce management company, found that this year, an estimated 26.2 million American workers plan to miss work the Monday after the Super Bowl.
That leads to $5.2 billion in lost productivity.
UKG's Julie Devlin says whether it becomes a holiday or not, the message is clear.
The Super Bowl is really just the headline. The real story is How do workplaces handle predictable disruptions all year long?
Devlin says companies should prepare with employees for big sports and pop culture events, especially routine ones like the Super Bowl. Also, making it easy to request time off or swap shifts can help lead to less disruption.
What we're trying to prevent here is that ghosting piece. We don't want employees just not showing up.
Now, why would so many people need electrolyte drinks?
Right, exactly.
What are they doing?
You know, Jacob had a good suggestion. He said, why don't we just play it on Saturday?
Yeah, and then everyone can just ease into
And then everybody
Sunday.
can go home on Sunday, but then you have to call it Super Bowl Saturday instead of Sunday. But it's an interesting idea.
We're working out the kinks. All right, coming up, we have some more local stories.
Whether the case against the city of Madison over uncounted absentee ballots will move forward.
Plus, News 3 Now's Maya Tate shows us the big change the University of Wisconsin is considering to make some of its academic programs.
And unseasonably warm temperatures today. There's a great shot. There's still a lot of ice on the lake, but see, it's opening up a little bit. Slowly but surely. Jacob will have the forecast for tomorrow and the rest of the week when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Live at 4. If you are feeling that Super Bowl Monday kind of slump, maybe go outside and get some fresh air.
That's great advice because it's a beautiful day. That'll wake you up a little bit. Let's take a look outside today. It was sunny for most of the day and very mild. And the weather words today, above normal temperatures ahead. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano is here. Felt good out there today, Jacob.
Yeah, normally when temperatures are this nice, I come on to tell you, well, it's not going to last too long. This time it is, and we are not really seeing any cool downs in the forecast. Right now, temperatures are in the middle to upper 30s, easily above average for this time of the year. And as we look across the area, Prairie du Chien did hit 40, a few other isolated 40s out there, and we're definitely going to see most of the area hit 40 at some point over the next 10 days. Now, even compared to yesterday wasn't too bad, but even compared to that, about 5 to 10 degrees warmer. Now, we are seeing some very light precipitation for parts of the area. Far off to the north in central Wisconsin, there is some very light rain. Also may see some light snow, and this may continue over the next couple of hours, but that will be just about it in terms of precipitation for the next couple of days. Just that very small chance in central Wisconsin tonight. Otherwise, we'll see a decent amount of cloud coverage tonight with some sunshine returning once we get towards tomorrow. But those cloudy skies will help keep those temperatures mild tonight. We'll have lows only dropping into the middle to lower 30s. So I'll talk more in detail about these mild temperatures and show you any other chances of precipitation we may see this week. Those details coming up a bit later.
Thanks, Jacob. In a petition for a restraining order, Middleton Mayor Emily Kuhn says a former city employee and current Alder candidate harassed her.
In the petition, the mayor says Mark Opitz tried to unzip her pants and groped her following her State of the City speech that happened in March of last year. According to the petition, which the judge granted, Kuhn was giving the speech at the Village Green Bar. And during the event, the mayor says she saw Opitz, got drunk, and then assaulted her. Kuhn says she immediately reported Opitz, who resigned 2 days after the city launched its investigation.
Opitz has not responded to a request for comment. The city released a statement saying it will not comment on an ongoing process, but it is aware of the temporary restraining order filing.
Now to continuing coverage of a story in Mount Horeb.
Last week, we told you about a Mount Horeb High School coach who was fired over an investigation into reports of inappropriate communications with students.
Just today, we received a major update on the status of the investigation, and our Sarah Carlson joins us now with more on that. Sarah?
Hi, Susan and Brady. Police booked former Mount Horeb High School track and field coach David Chancellor into jail today. He's facing charges of stalking and fourth-degree sexual assault. Police and the Mount Horeb School District released a joint statement last week about this investigation, saying Chancellor is accused of having inappropriate communications with students. Police now say those communications were between Chancellor and a former athlete. Chancellor has not yet been formally charged, and we will keep following this case and let you know what happens as soon as more information becomes available. Susan and Brady?
Sarah, thank you. One person is in the hospital this afternoon after crashing a pickup into a pet supply store on South Park Street. First responders were called to Nutsy Mutts and Crazy Cats around 9:10 this morning for reports of a crash. They found the driver partially thrown from their truck. Crews safely removed the driver and took them away in an ambulance. There's no word on the driver's condition at this time. No one else was hurt in the crash.
Right now, Madison police are investigating a shooting from over the weekend. On Saturday night at about 6:30, officers responded to Vera Court for a report of shots fired. When they got there, they found someone with a gunshot wound. That person went to a local hospital and is expected to live. No word yet on any arrests. Police are asking anyone with information about the shooting to reach out to them.
A lawsuit against Madison over uncounted absentee ballots will move forward. A judge denying the city's request to dismiss it. You'll remember in 2024, Madison failed to count nearly 200 absentee ballots. The lawsuit seeks financial damages for the failure from the city and the former clerk. The city made the legal argument that absentee voting is a privilege, not a right. A judge rejected that argument, but he did dismiss the clerk's office from the suit, saying that the city and the clerk's office cannot be sued separately from the city.
Tonight, the Janesville City Council will consider a direct legislation petition. More than 4,600 people in Janesville signed a petition to the city clerk. It would require the City Council to refer any development project at the former GM site of more than $450 million to voters, and that would be done through a referendum. It comes as the city could see a potential data center there. Late last month, the City Council voted that petition down. We'll keep you updated on what the members decide.
We have new details this afternoon about the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration. Official statistics from the Department of Homeland Security give a snapshot of the president's first year back in office. They show about 14% of the nearly 400,000 immigrants arrested by ICE had charges or convictions for violent criminal offenses. The figures on your screen contradict the president's claims that its crackdown primarily targets dangerous and violent criminals living in the U.S. illegally. This comes amid recent polling showing American support for the administration's deportation efforts is falling. It also follows the killing of 2 U.S. citizens by federal immigration enforcement agents in Minneapolis.
Big changes could be happening for some degrees offered at the University of Wisconsin System Schools.
Our Maya Tate met with a member of the Board of Regents to learn more about what to expect.
The University of Wisconsin Board of Regents spoke during their last meeting about the possibility of reducing certain degree requirements from 120 credits down to 90, which could knock off a year for certain students. Following the lead of other universities, including Milwaukee's Mount Mary University and Indiana's Manchester University, the UW Board of Regents decided that the idea of a generalized shift from 120 credits down to 90 would be something that they would look into.
The way I look at this is, can we get you the same quality education in a shorter period of time that ends up costing you less money? It just seems like something that should be examined in light of changes.
This topic could excite some current students, but Regent Timothy Nixon says that none of this is going to happen quickly. Ultimately, this decision first needs to pass through different committees and university system faculty before the board can officially make their decision. And even from there, Nixon says it will most likely be up to the individual university about how they adopt this policy. Reporting in Madison, Maya Tate, News 3 Now.
Maya, thank you. As of right now, there is no specific timeline for when this topic will be discussed by the Board of Regents again.
Certain college programs could lose access to federal student loans under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, and the change could affect about 40,000 U.S. college students. Consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn explains how and which programs are most at risk.
The new provision called Do No Harm requires associate and bachelor's degree granting programs to show that graduates earn more than high school graduates. Now, higher education firm HEA Group says college arts, religion, and trade programs like cosmetology are the most likely to be cut off from federal student loans. The new rule reflects Republican efforts to bar federal student loans for degrees that, quote, leave students worse off than if they never went to college. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act measures earnings 4 years after students get their degree degree, comparing graduates' pay with that of a typical high school graduate. Programs at four-year colleges around the U.S. at risk of failing the new earnings test include about 8% of studio and fine arts programs, roughly 3% of design and applied arts programs, as well as 1% of English major degrees. Programs that fail the test in 2 of 3 consecutive years could be barred from using federal student loans to finance students' education. This leaves students in those programs trying to find private financing or pay out of pocket. And when it comes to private funding, there's usually requirements like credit score or minimum income, which creates systemic barriers for certain people who are trying to advance.
Thank you, Michelle Renee. Next on Live at 4, it was a memorable and historic Super Bowl halftime show.
We'll take a look at all of the Easter eggs in Bad Bunny's performance, and we'll hear reaction from the game's attendees.
We'll tell you how you can be part of an upcoming event to celebrate members of the disabled community.
Plus, Jacob is back with a full picture of the first warn forecast, what the weather will bring on Valentine's Day when we're back.
We are taking a live look with our Edgewater Skycam. Isn't that a beautiful shot? Looks like things have quieted down since the winter carnival, but still plenty of ice out there, even in our warmer temperatures, but not for long.
Yep.
You can see some spots kind of looking like they're opening up down there. Well, Puerto Rico superstar Bad Bunny turned the Super Bowl halftime show into a full-blown dance party last night. It was a landmark moment for Latino culture.
The numbers are in, and it turns out the singer's show was the most watched halftime performance of all time, with more than 135 million viewers. Adriana Diaz reports.
The grass grew into a field of sugarcane as Bad Bunny kicked off his halftime show. The singer started his set by walking us through a colorful Caribbean landscape filled with a dominoes game, a nail salon, and even a shaved ice card. He then took us to La Casita, the same pink house from his Puerto Rican residency last year, where Jessica Alba, Cardi B, Karol G, and Pedro Pascal were all VIP.
Los declaro marido y mujer.
From there, it morphed into a real-life, legally binding wedding with quite the wedding singer. Lady Gaga, singing a salsa version of Die With a Smile. She also showed off her dance moves at the wedding reception. Bad Bunny then took a shot from a Puerto Rican pioneer, Tonita, who owns a legendary New York social club. At one point, cameras found a young boy and his family watching the moment Bad Bunny won his Grammy last week. The singer then passing the dream forward. La Brega podcast host Alana Casanova Burgess.
I think a lot of people, myself included, saw parallels between that little boy and Liam Conejo Ramos. We know that that little boy wasn't Liam Conejo Ramos, but whether it was a younger Bad Bunny or any other Latino kid, I think the parallels were pretty clear.
From there, Bad Bunny brought out fellow Puerto Rican icon Ricky Martin.
Quieren quitarme el río y también la playa. God bless America!
And then closed out the show, shouting out every country across the Americas.
Venezuela, Guyana!
Marching with all their flags in front of a jumbotron that read, "The only thing more powerful than hate is love." An alternative halftime show viewed by more than 5 million people was headlined by Kid Rock. Bad Bunny's set drew a record-breaking 135 million viewers and tens of thousands in person.
I love the fact that everybody was like bringing culture together and he was just trying to mend things.
I think music should be universal and it was absolutely fantastic.
Seguimos aquí. Adriana Diaz, CBS News.
It was quite the performance.
I loved all the surprises.
Yeah. My friends are like, wait, is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That was the best part of it. Let's get a check of the weather now. Jacob is here, and it was a very mild day today.
Yeah, and these mild temperatures are going to stick around. It's going to be a very unseasonably mild February 10-day forecast. Now, as we take a look at the three things you need to know, highs will be in the 30s and 40s for all of this week with very little precipitation, and then it's going to get even milder once we get towards next week. So taking a look at the small chance of precipitation, we will see maybe some light snow, light rain in central Wisconsin. Most of it will stay in northern Wisconsin tonight. Other than that, we're going to be dry, and even with that possibility tonight, most of the area won't see anything. We do have a little bit of better chance of some precipitation once we get towards Thursday, especially for areas to the west and southwest of Madison. Dade County could definitely see a little bit of snow from this, maybe a little bit of rain as well, but this will be a quick moving system, not expecting much of any accumulation, maybe a half inch for some areas at most, but that'll be just about it. Then as we get towards Friday, we'll be dry again. The weekend also looks to feature pretty dry conditions, especially for the day on Valentine's Day, with maybe the potential for a little bit of precipitation once we get to Saturday night, but a lot can certainly change between now and then. To recap these precipitation chances, even those times that we could see a little bit, it's only going to be a very, very small chance. So not really seeing much rain or snow as we continue to see these mild temperatures. These are the low temperatures tonight, and they are a little bit warmer than the average high for this time of year, as they're going to be in the lower 30s. The average high is in the upper 20s for this time of the year. For tomorrow, we'll have highs in the upper 30s to lower 40s, a little bit more sunshine, and as we get towards the end of the week, it'll get even warmer after it does drop briefly for Wednesday, but still staying above average. And then we could be talking about several days in a row in the 40s, especially once we get towards the beginning of next work week, where we could even see some middle to upper 40s. Can't even rule out a few 50s at times next week. So much milder conditions are expected to continue. And looking at the 2-week temperature outlook, no sign of these temperatures dropping back down. So as I talked about, this is a very, very comfortable and nice February 10-day forecast. Valentine's Day looks especially nice with sunshine and temperatures in the 40s. So hard to complain about the next 10 days. Now, obviously, if you are hoping for more snow, not really going to see much of it. But beyond that, outside the snow lovers, it's a pretty good 10-day forecast with several days getting well into the 40s. And like I said, no end in sight to this.
Looks good to me. I'm a fan.
Thank you, Jacob.
Looking ahead, get ready for a sweet adventure on April 26th. A night to remember is celebrating individuals with disabilities in the greater Madison area. At the Monona Terrace, you can celebrate with a walk down the carpet, photos, a gift bag, snacks, dancing, games, and a whole lot of fun. This year's theme is Candyland. Registration is free and open now for both honored guests and volunteers. Visit the story on channel3000.com to register.
Still ahead on Live at 4, the afternoon sprint. All of the top local stories you need to know today, including an update on the Madison missing ballots case when we're back. It is 4:51, time for the afternoon sprint.
Former Mount Horeb track and field coach David Chancellor is in jail. He is facing charges of 4th-degree sexual assault and stalking. Chancellor was fired last week after police opened an investigation into reports of inappropriate communications that he had with students. He has not yet been formally charged. The mayor of Middleton has filed a request for a temporary restraining order against a former city employee. Mayor Emily Kuhn says former city planner Mark Opitz tried to unzip her pants and groped her last year. She reported the incident to the city. Opitz later resigned. He's currently running for election as one of the city's alders.
Madison police are investigating a shooting from over the weekend. Saturday night, officers responded to Vera Court for a report of shots fired. When they arrived, they found someone with a gunshot wound. That person went to a local hospital and is expected to survive. No word yet on arrests.
A judge has denied the city of Madison's request to dismiss a lawsuit over the nearly 200 absentee ballots that were uncounted in the 2024 election. The city made the legal argument absentee voting is a privilege, not a right. The judge rejected that argument, but did dismiss the clerk's office from the suit, saying the city and the clerk's office cannot be sued separately.
Tonight, the Janesville City Council will consider a direct legislation petition. More than 4,600 people in Janesville signed a petition to the city clerk. It would require the city council to refer any development project at the former GM site of more than $450 million to voters, and that would be done through a referendum. It comes as the city could see a potential data center in Janesville.
And taking a final check of the 10-day forecast, we're going to continue to see mild temperatures, upper 30s again for tomorrow, dropping a tiny bit for Wednesday, but still going to be in the 30s. Upper 30s once we get towards Thursday. Then we could be talking about highs in the 40s, not just a few days, but several over the weekend and into the first half of next week. Some days could even get close to 50. And during all this, we're really not going to see much of any precipitation. There are a few small chances, the best one being Thursday, especially for areas further west in southwest Wisconsin. But beyond that, nothing big, not expecting any accumulation. Maybe a little bit more towards the end of the 10-day forecast, but a lot can change between now and then. So really right now, enjoy the mild weather, and there's not really an end in sight to it at this point.
Tough year for the snowplows and the skiers, but there's still some winter left.
Yeah, I felt like all the snow fell in November this year.
Exactly, that's how it feels. Thank you, Jacob.
We're back with a look at what we're working on for News 3 Now at 5 after this. Coming up on News 3 Now at 5, Jalen Banks is back with a deeper dive into the safety of some of Madison's streets. And an update on the landmark social media trial taking place across the country right now that accuses companies of intentionally addicting and harming a teenager. Thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.